Okay. That was you know what? That was pretty good. That was all right, folks. That was a long time coming. I tell you what, that we actually played that song. A long time coming, and would you believe that's the name of the song? It's by a absolutely brilliant artist that we've played before on this show. You might remember that we played one of his previous singles, Are You More? And I'll tell you what, after playing that one, I was definitely keen for more. The man's come out with his debut EP, which is called Stories You Tell Yourself, and I was telling myself I've got to get him in for a chat. So you know what? We make things happen right here, and I've got him right now on the line, all the way from across town, not even from interstate. Please welcome, strangely enough.
G'day. I wouldn't be allowed into your show if I was from interstate. It'd be, I'd have to quarantine before I could pick up the phone.
I'm worried you're going to just send those bad vibes down the phone if you're not from town, you know. Whereas I kind of know what I'm getting into when you're from the locale.
Yeah, it's like we've all got the same PTSD as opposed to a slightly different variant.
Yeah, it's I feel like we can just be a little bit more relatable to each other, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But Greg, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on finally after you've released your EP. So congratulations on that. How are you feeling now? It's been about a month since it's come out.
Yeah, thanks. No, feeling great. It's the debut EP for Strangely Enough, so that is pretty awesome. We've done, up until this point, a lot of singles, quite a few singles anyway, and that's obviously great as well. It's sort of like you've got a really concentrated sort of release. It's all around this one song. But yeah, I've really enjoyed putting out a larger body of work, whole EP, and one of the best things is actually hearing, what songs people like the most, and that may or may not have been sort of the obvious, singles, or it might be something that's a little bit more hidden in the track list.
I was going to say, yeah, it's something. It's quite a concise little record. It's not really a sprawling release. It's very tight. And it's very concise, and it's a nice, short and sweet listen, I think.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, start somewhere, but thanks. Feels great to have it out. Thanks for giving it a spin.
Pleasure. It is. The namesake is there. This EP has been a bit of a long time coming because that aforementioned single, you put it out over a year ago now, or at least a year before you came out with the EP. I saw you release it back right at the cusp of when the world turned upside down last year. What was it like then having this great upheaval happen just as you're getting hooked into getting a release schedule out there? What was it like having to experience that? Well,
yeah, I suppose it was a bit shit, it was for a lot of people. We had
Let's not beat around the bush, people. Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. This is really summing up this entire year. Let me speak directly to your heart right now. It was a bit shit. But yeah, no. So we had a tour planned. And we had to cancel all that, and but I suppose it's probably in a way that a lot of people felt. There was just nothing you could do, no control over the situation or anything like that. So I found that just kind of almost weirdly relaxing in that it was like, okay, well, everything's fucked, but there's nothing I can do about it. So just I don't need to stress about answering the next email or organizing the van from city A to city B or whatever. It's just just sit here and enjoy the ruins of it all, I suppose. So weird feeling, but there you go.
I mean, it's speaking of losing control. Do you feel like that is an emotion and a theme that you come across a bit because you've described the EP as sort of an expression of these mental ideas you have. So, I mean, at what point do you feel like you're in control of the themes that you're writing about as opposed to just letting it flow?
Yeah, really interesting question. Definitely more the latter than the former, to tell you the truth.
Give me a bit more. Come on, Greg. We've got to dig deep.
Yeah.
Give me that solid, meaty information. You've had 400 interviews by now saying, "Oh, what's your favorite band?"
Yeah,
It's-
yeah,
What's
yeah.
what's it
obviously-
like? What's it like playing on stage? We're past
Yeah.
these pedestrian questions, Greg.
Yeah, well, I've forgotten what that one's like, the stage one, and the favorite band is definitely like the Wiggles. But
Wait, legit or
yeah,
okay?
I don't know, man.
I really don't. I
probably.
shouldn't laugh because those are guys you want to look up to. Like,
They're definitely, yeah.
but
Look, I enjoyed their Uber Eats ad recently. That was best song of 2021 so far.
wow, that's only halfway through the year, and you're calling some shots. I'm going to take a sound bite of
confident.
what you just said and then play it back at the end of the year and see if you still hold the same opinion.
Yeah, anyway, back to the serious stuff. Yeah, so I suppose a lot of the time my lyric writing process is like get into a band room or get into this, my home studio or whatever, and sort of like the melody comes first, definitely. And so I actually sort of just accompany that with whatever sort of sounds kind of work. So whatever sort of mumbo jumbo, like little snatches of words or little syllables or whatever. And it kind of sounds a little bit ridiculous, but that sort of becomes the basis for the lyrics, because you sort of pull out like, okay, that kind of sounds like this, and then that kind of it's kind of like, have you ever stared at a wall that's like, got like those fridge magnets you have that have like, they've all just got one word on each magnet, and you can sort of rearrange them to different sentences and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I had a set of those when I was a kid. I used to find them weirdly entertaining.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good. But it's sort of like that. I suppose, you're looking at this nonsensical collage of words and syllables and stuff like that, and something sort of your subconscious sort of, if you let it, will form those into a lyric, into a hook, into the first line of a verse or something like that. So I find that just that sort of element of accident is just a way easier way for me to be creative with my lyrics, rather than sitting down, I don't know, next to a still pond or something like that, and musing about what it is I really truly feel, and just willing it into existence. So yeah. I hope that's deep enough for you.
The sitting and staring thing is just a little bit too cliched, I feel.
Well, it doesn't really work for me anyway. So looks good. Looks great on Instagram.
You've found the old Scrabble method then quite effective. By the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Is that what we're allowed to call
it? We are now. I think you've just coined it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mental Scrabble. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's okay. So I was going to say, I like how you've found this very peculiar method for putting together your songs.
Yeah, well, it's sort of it wasn't deliberate, but it kind of works. So go with it.
Have you ever written songs via a method that's just been totally foreign to you up until then?
Yeah, probably not very good ones though.
That's how he knows his method works.
Yeah. Because it delivers the goods. Yeah, but no, not so much. I've done things like, one thing I really like doing actually is picking up an instrument that I'm totally unfamiliar with, and writing a song on that. Just because you don't have any, I find if you're picking up an instrument, a guitar, for example, that, you've played for many, many years, and you've got some songs that really, really well, it's just really easy to fall into those, that same patterns, the same chord progression, the same, and we'll go from here, to there, that works, but it also sounds exactly like all those other songs. So, yeah, like I had a really lucky experience a couple of years ago where I was traveling in Portugal, and for quite a few months, and I picked up a instrument called a fado, F-A-D-O, which is sort of, it's a Portuguese instrument, kind of halfway between a lute and a guitar. Anyway, so got to travel around with that for a couple of months and learn how to play some some crappy pop songs like that. And I find that sort of thing really, really enjoyable.
What kind of tuning is that instrument in? Because I know with lute, the actual tuning you're supposed to have is whether you tune down the G string to an F sharp.
Oh yeah.
And that's lute tuning.
Oh, right, and the rest of it's similar to a guitar?
The rest of it's the same, yeah. So if you ever read lute music, it's kind of weird to play on guitar because that one extra semitone moved. But is it the same? Were you just playing it in the standard tuning, were you?
No, it's a different tuning. It's 6 strings, and then a double of each string, kind of like a 12-string guitar.
Right.
And each string it's C, E, G, and then the top strings are also C, E, G. So it has kind of a sort of like a 6th chord feeling to it, which is kind of nice and
you'd be able to do
a
lot of interesting bar chords with that. I'd feel.
Yeah. No, you can. So. It's a cool instrument, but you're taking yourself out of your comfort zone, sort of how you mentioned then. It's a really valuable thing.
What was it like? So did you play much music while you were traveling, like as in performing or that sort of thing?
Little bits. I got to see a lot of cool music. And I did actually end up playing kind of an informal slot at a very small festival in Budapest. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. You went for a bit of the George Ezra thing, just traveling Europe for a little while, just seeing what happens.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely do worse things. But after that, I went to India for a month, and that was it's a whole other world. And also got to experience some very, very cool music over there also. So getting out and traveling and seeing how other people do it is, one of the best things you can do, I think.
Did you find it just gives that little bit of extra perspective that you didn't have before, seeing those different cultures and how they interact with music?
Yeah, well, you don't know what you don't know. And it's the sort of thing that I think, filters down in interesting ways, and might, resurface in interesting ways as well. The influences from those experiences. So, and that's musical and non-musical as well. But something that's sort of like as personal and as kind of as ethereal as music is. It's just fascinating how different cultures have developed that.
Different cultures, they seem to default to different scales and different tonalities as well. Which I've heard. I'm talking like I'm an expert. I really am not. But
well, no, I think that's very, very true. There, I mean, there are some, like the pentatonic scale is very widespread, which is really interesting of itself. But checking out things like Indian ragas and stuff like that, and they've got a whole sort of microtonal sort of system going on there, but I mean even within other sort of European countries, we have this idea of what sounds right and what sounds correct, and it's just interesting seeing a musical culture where that's completely not the case. And how could that be? That this sounds obviously this G major chord just sounds just right, like inherently right, but it's not the case. It's just how our ears have been tuned as much as the instrument.
So now that you've I guess it's been at least a couple of years since you've done that traveling, obviously. It goes without saying, I think. But no, now that you've had a bit of time to ground yourself, is it important as well, just as much to get out there and experience the world as to have that, looking sort of that experience where you're looking in that you would have had to have had this last year and just have that sort of more reflective period? Do you find that's just as important?
Yeah. I mean, you can't, to be productive, you have to have both. But, I think myself and a lot of anyone trying to be sort of, make any art have found, the last sort of 18 months really difficult because there just is limited experience to go out there and stimulate yourself. And, people have found really wonderful creative ways of doing it. And one of the things I really enjoy is that people are now really keen for like gigs and things like that again, because you haven't had that for ages. But the last 18 months has been, I think, it's been an interesting experiment of what happens when you can't challenge yourself so much when you are stuck.
So were you surprised then that your productivity had decreased when you look back at last year?
Well, yeah, musical productivity definitely is sort of like great. Now I got all this time, but yeah, I know inspiration strikes at odd times. You can't really plan it. So
that muse, she's a real bastard.
Yeah, wow, she's elusive. Yeah. How about you?
How about me? Well, the same thing is this is not my interview. But no, you're right. It's right. Personally, I did find it very difficult to keep up the productivity, keep practicing, keep writing, keep playing, even live streaming was not something I ended up doing as much as I thought I would. So yeah, I think that's. And then since I've talked to people, I thought it would have just been a me thing, but then since I was talking to people since we came out of that really big lockdown, especially last year, most people were the same. So it's really interesting to see. Like I would have thought locking yourself in your room and would have really pushed this interesting sort of writing style. But I don't know if you found the same thing. But it's this idea of that. I think it's this idea that if you have nothing to push you, you're going to stagnate, which makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find some of my most creative times for writing music, at least, really unexpected. Like sitting hungover on a couch somewhere, or like I don't know, taking a walk by the ocean, or taking a train ride out to work or something like that. Yeah. So it often doesn't strike in your room by yourself on a Wednesday afternoon after 3 glasses of wine. For no particular reason. Yeah, that sometimes it does though. So yeah.
It's a saucy mix, that wine. With I was going to say, is there any sort of, speaking of like locations and inspiration and that, is there anywhere you'd like to go just to try and see if that would sort of ignite some sort of spark, maybe some specifically, not just to go travel, but specifically to create and write and maybe record? Is there a location you'd love to do that in?
Yeah, for sure. South America has been on my, I suppose that destination for me for a while. I'd really love to go to Cuba. To, I don't know, just experience a whole different culture that I've never had the chance to experience before, and then their culture with such a strong and distinct sort of musical identity. So anywhere in South America, really. I'd really anywhere from Cuba right down to Patagonia. I would love the opportunity to do that.
Have you actually ever visited South America or Latin America before?
Never. Not America in general. I've never been to the continent either. So yeah, it's on the list.
Would be an amazing experience to do the whole length.
Yeah. There you go. Far out.
Just on your bucket list.
You need a couple of years, I reckon. Yeah, that's right.
Easily, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, just buy like a little Beetle car or something like that, and just off you go. But fuck yeah, why not?
Traveling sounds a lot good right now. Traveling sounds amazing right now. Obviously not a thing, but you can dream.
Not yet. Yeah, not yet. I've got colleagues though who are like, one of my colleagues, she's in America. She lives in Austin, and just went on a trip to Peru. So it's happening. It's starting again. It won't be that long. But my passport expired over the lockdown, so I can't even leave the country even if I was able to. So first things first, I suppose, huh?
Get that admin done. Come on. You've got nothing else to
do. Yeah. Just be whimsical. Find a pond to sit next to. Yeah.
With your recording of the EP, how was it like putting that together? What sort of process did you have to go through to get yourself putting those songs together?
It was an interesting one because the recording was done remotely. A lot of it was anyway. So the rest of my band is in Brisbane, where I moved from recently. So there's a studio and engineer that I've been working with there, Cody McWaters, who works out of Hunting Ground Studios. So we did a couple of remote recording sessions, which was pretty cool. So, Ben, my drummer, went into the studio and set everything up there, and it had like a camera set up so I could see what was going on, and then like a high quality sort of live stream coming through to my home studio here in Melbourne. So yeah, that was pretty cool and actually worked surprisingly well. And then vocals and violin and guitar and things like that we did down here in Melbourne, both at home and also at Audrey Studios in Coburg. So it was a bit all over the shop, but I think worked really well.
I was going to say, so it wasn't just all at home. You did actually go into a studio down here to do a bit.
Yes, no, definitely. Yeah, no, Craig from Audrey Studios helped out a lot. That was a good session. But yeah, quite a lot at home. A lot of the tracks are made kind of with homemade synths, so a lot of the sound design sort of happens at home. So yeah, a bit of both.
How important is it to do that pre-production sort of thing? Is it? Have you found it incredibly important part of that process? Yeah, well, for sure. It's sort of the pre-production process and the composition process is all sort of intertwined into one with my music. I think with a lot of music, I think it's increasingly becoming more of pre-production, composition, and mixing is sort of there's I don't think there's quite the often there is, but some in this sort of style of music there's often not that as hard a distinction between the three as there is in other types of music. So yeah, for example, a lot of the songs on this EP they were sort of written at home, but also the sounds of, like I said, the sounds of some of these synths were designed at home, and that sort of like informs the composition of it as well. That sound design, and then on top of that, you sort of like can layer the other parts and things like that. But it's all sort of blended into one, really. Yeah, it's turning into one big mushy, auditory nightmare, isn't it? Yeah. Just one big Ableton session. Yeah. Is your life. Yeah, I can chew up that RAM on the computer. Yeah, that's right. In saying that, it is really helpful to, I don't mix my own stuff kind of as much out of choice as out of inability. But it's really, I find good to give it to someone else to get, someone else's ear on it to do a different part of the process, like mixing, like mastering, because otherwise you sort of can live in your head a bit too much, and especially if you question any of your decisions, you can, I think, get kind of lost pretty quickly. So there's definitely value in having a bit more of a segmented approach to it and getting some different ears on it. Well, speaking of sort of that critiquing process that you just mentioned there, is there much? Are you one of those people that will really never, and it's quite common too, one of those people that will always be looking to improve, but from a more, if you take a step back and other people will look at it and go, well, no, that's actually fine, Greg. It's actually all right. But are you thinking that it's less perfect than it probably is? Is that where you usually come from? Yeah, man, it's such a hard line to walk, isn't it? Like, that's the old adage, like, it's never done. It's just, you just run out of time. Yeah. And, to some extent that's true, but also, I don't know, I think I've released a bit of music now, and I think at this point I can be a little bit pragmatic, and just say, it's done, like, or this will do. I think more than anything, I just get, kind of sick of the songs. It's like, okay, I'm ready for something new now. Like, don't get me wrong, there's my fair share of obsession and critiquing and sort of like tweaking, but I've also had the experience of ruining a song or ruining a mix from thinking about too much, from going back and working on too much. Story time? You need to story time, Greg? Not a very interesting story, but just well, don't say that. You don't premise a story by saying it's not very interesting. That way, I'm just what? I was going to say that way we will be disappointed. regardless.
Well, I'm just lowering your expectations so that when the story comes on and it is good, then you're like, wow, shit, that was better than I thought it was going to be.
Exceeded my expections. Very, very clever. Very clever.
Yeah, that's right. I'm getting into your head here. But yeah, look, I had that with one of my previously released songs where this had been a song that I had sort of written for a long, long time, and I was really, really, really proud of it. And I thought like this is going to be the song that like does it, and that sort of I was sort of defining myself around this song. Like this is what the band is about, now sort of thing at this point in time, and that is kind of an exciting feeling and not entirely a bad thing. But then, it was like sort of after a year or something like that of recording and mixing this song, it got to the end of it, and I was, one, totally sick of working on this song, and two, it just had a feeling, had a vibe that was just very different to what the original demo had. I had this demo which had been playing for about 8 months, and there was just, maybe it's because I'd listened to it so much, but there was just some sort of this kind of magic going on, that was, so much of recording is sort of like trying to capture lightning in a bottle, like it sometimes it only strikes once, and sometimes you're not not doing the final takes at that time. So it came out just and didn't quite have that magic. It was still, I think, a great song and a good recording, but it's just been worked on too much. And I think maybe if I had my time back, I'd try and take more even from that demo, even if it didn't sound perfect.
I was going to say, have you ever thought about maybe just releasing the demo?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should,
just get a nice bit of mastering on it and be like, just that's it. This is the magic.
Yeah.
Give it or leave it. You take it or leave it.
Yeah. Well, I have actually recently been digging through some of the old sort of like live recordings and band rehearsal recordings and stuff like that, and there are a few magical moments which we have managed to capture, and the plan is to put them out over the next couple of weeks. That's sort of warts and all.
That sort of cuts into what I was going to ask later about what's coming up next, but that sounds pretty sexy. If I don't mind saying so myself. Yeah. Well,
please do. I mean, you can take whatever you want from it, but no, I'm really keen to do that because there's so much prep and so much work and all the rest of it that goes into one of these releases. So just to do something that's just like, cool, I found this on my hard drive, like, blah, take that,
just something to get rid of,
Yeah, but also the same, completely honest, completely raw, and I love that when I hear it in recordings. So hopefully emulate a bit of that.
Have you done much live playing solo since you've been down here in Melbourne? Because you know how, as you were saying before, your band's all interstate. What do you do when you got to play live?
Well, I've done a few acoustic gigs, so these songs actually translate okay to to sort of stripped down acoustic setup. I've been doing a few other gigs with some other people as well. Been playing with my friend Kyron, who's in a couple of different groups. One's the Tipplers, which is an Irish band, which is super fun.
Nice.
And the other one is Gibberish, which is sort of like a improv electro stuff. So bit of that, and then a few acoustic gigs with Strangely Enough stuff. But yeah, the idea really is to get the band down to play down here, and we were all set to go with that until good old the lockdown in Queensland happened, and we had to cancel all those gigs. So yeah, shitty timing, but all right, what do you do? Keep on going.
Do you have to distinguish sometimes when you write songs between songs that you'd really only play solo and ones that you would play with the band only?
Not really, because I enjoy taking songs to the band, and just like they're wonderful, really wonderful, talented musicians. and they surprise me all the time. I sort of rely on it to tell you the truth. Being surprised.
Tell us a bit about them too. I think it's always worth giving us the rundown.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's Ben Shannon on drums, and he is. We met at uni. I was studying music technology. He was studying jazz drums.
What a mixture!
Yeah, it was a good one. It's a good one for sure.
He just went full Barry B. Benson. Just, you like jazz, and you're like, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, he was more like, actually, it was more like, do you like gent? Actually,
gent.
Yeah. That was sort of the first musical conversation I had with him about gent.
You have to. I'm feeling ignorant here. Is this some sort of reference I'm supposed to know about?
It's like metal music that's in like 11/8 time signature or something like that.
So it's a genre. It's a subgenre of music.
Yeah.
I can say I've never come across that term before, so I'm going to have to do my research to bring myself up to speed now.
Yeah, well, get ready. DJ ENT.
Gent. Yeah, I think I've heard. Yes, sorry, it's a silent D.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't forget the D, folks.
Yeah. So that's Ben. He's an awesome dude. He's got a lot of really cool creative stuff going on. Oh, also claim to fame for him, he was he played the drummer orangutan who in a recent Cadbury commercial. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, ones where they're like, it's the drumming monkey in that. Yes.
Yeah. That was him.
That's
yeah. So pretty cool.
What a bizarre claim to fame. No one can even recognize you.
Yeah. But I tell you what, when I see that ad, I recognize him straight away. Just
from his playing style.
No, just the face. Really, he's an ugly motherfucker.
So wait,
but
so they didn't even have to put prosthetics on him or anything. They go, you're
that's right. Yeah. They just told him to take off his shirt. No. He's a handsome man.
Just be careful.
He's a very handsome man.
The only one I'd be worried about if someone says you look like a baboon, I'd say, how the hell have you seen me with my pants down?
Anyway, so that's
apologies for the bad joke, and apologies to your friend for getting a bit too close to home there.
That's anyway, so that's Ben. And then there's Zach. He's on bass. He also was studying at jazz.
Does he resemble a giraffe? I feel like bassists, if you've got like a bassist that is a skinny bassist, they always have long necks.
Yeah, no, he's more of like a rhinoceros beetle or something like that.
We've got to compare all your band now to animals. I'm getting very invested in this idea.
No, let's go with rhinoceros beetle. Just because they're really cool, apart from being kind of Zachish. But he's a cool dude. Also a jazz dude, also kind of into metal, but also kind of into he's got this really cool sort of like pop rock band called Joel, which is super fun. But then also like really sort of like classical jazz, and then really spagged out jazz. Him and Ben have got another band called Milton Man Go, which is a real treat if you ever want to chuck that on. But yeah, and then there's Adam Brill on guitar and synth, and he's maybe got a bit of a giraffe vibe. He's a tall dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe something like a halfway between. Yeah, let's go giraffe. Like a giraffe, but like a giraffe with like majesty. Like imagine if like a giraffe had like a lion's mane or something like that.
Okay, so it's like a really long beard, like a giraffe with a massive goatee that goes all the way down.
Yeah, something like that. Well, he hasn't yet. It's got a pretty normal beard. I'm just trying to say he's a bit majestic. Is what I'm trying to say. I really dig his majesty.
So he's got a good mane on him, then, has he?
He does. He does have a pretty good mane.
Yeah.
And is also quite good at reaching leaves on the top half of trees because he's tall. So
I think
fed. Also,
that's a well described description there, Greg. I'm very impressed.
Look, it's what I was looking for when I was shopping around for a guitarist. So
just need someone to hit those high notes.
Yeah, that's right.
But not like that.
Someone to. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of short, so I need someone, hit the high notes, get the thing off the top shelf in the pantry, play some synthesizer. So that was really my three main requirements.
Actually, yeah. Now I've worked out why I've never seen a short synthesizer player. Because you need to be you need to be at least 6'3" to get, if you've got your big stack of synths, you can't be reaching too far above your head.
we actually do have a double stack synth, so there you go.
Well, then, the being at least average height is definitely a requirement there.
Yeah. I wonder if you could get sort of like a, when you have multi-layer bookshelves and you have like a ladder that you can, swing around to different parts of it and climb up to get the books on the top of the shelf.
I was going to say get them a high chair if they're a tad too short.
Oh yeah, that could be good.
So they can sit up.
That's out of, well, apart from being majestic and tall, Adam is a really excellent guitarist, really funky keyboard player.
Yeah.
And he's actually also got another band of his own with Zach as well. Actually, it's a very incestuous little circle we've got going on here. But they've got another act called...
It really is.
You
don't really think of Brisbane as being the state or the area of Australia known for their familial relations, so to speak. But.
Well, once you're onto a good thing, there's
no need to stop.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've got a very close-knit scene, perhaps too close-knit. But they've got a really cool band called Lamborghini Eagleman.
Right. What a name.
What a name, right? Check them out also. But anyway, that's the band. They're pretty sweet. And we'll be doing some shows with a really excellent violinist, Caitlin, on electric violin. I know her through another group that I play with called Deep Blue, which is sort of like a neoclassical orchestra that we do some stuff with. But yeah, she's really, really wonderful. And, what animal would she represent? She's got a really wonderful curly red hair.
Okay.
I feel like there should be something obvious there. But anyway, I know she is her own animal, put it that way.
Ah, yes.
So that's the band.
Does she go wild on them fiddle solos?
She does. Yeah, she's pretty electric, actually. I feel like there's so many metaphors to be had for everyone with red hair, but it's just not coming right now. So,
it's a real zoo. This particular particular outfit you have. They're all very busy. A lot of side projects and main projects going on. Well, I guess you're mainly the side project for them.
Well, that's not what they tell me, but
okay,
maybe
not to your face.
Not to my face. Yeah, I know how it is though. No, I think it's wonderful. Like, that's sort of why we, started playing together in the first place. It's like, hey, I like what you do. Do you like what I do? Cool, let's do it together. So, I think they're a wonderful band. I'm blessed to have them around.
I was going to say, I'm guessing you must be so excited to eventually rebook those gigs and get up there and play with them.
Yeah, and down here also. So October is when we're looking to make all the magic happen again.
Tentative at this stage by the sounds of it.
Yeah, well, these things take a while to book in, so I've only just bloody cancelled them. So.
All good. All good things take time, Greg. So that's not a bad thing.
Yes. No, it's not. So, the whole cancelling thing, that was a bad thing. But the rebooking thing is a good thing, but it will take time.
Exactly. Now, apart from these rescheduled shows, tentatively later in spring, what else are we looking at sorting out in the coming months for yourself, music-wise?
Well, I think I'm going to put out just a couple of these sort of demo recordings or like live, sort of in studio live rehearsal recordings, just to because I really like them and I want other people to hear them, and I feel like we've done the proper sort of single thing, and we've shown that that's sort of our sonic stamp, and now let's let's go into the back room.
I feel like
get personal.
I feel like because I wanna is a good enough reason should not require further elaboration at the end of the day. Because I was like, oh, okay, cool. You do you.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, actually, because I wanna. So
none of you can tell me otherwise.
Yeah. I really just need you to set me free there.
Yeah,
so I appreciate that. So that'll be a thing. Some more shows, and then we'll see. Get the whole thing started again. There's a couple more songs sort of rumbling around and in various stages of pre-production, and we'll make the best of those into some shiny new songs. Put it out again.
Very nice. Very, very nice, Greg. It's going to be really keen to see some more stuff coming out from you.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Love to get your ears on it.
Beautiful. We're going to play really soon the phenomenal closing track off the record, I Want to Know. Now, this is definitely a standout. It's such an epic track to finish on. What I want to know is, like, how the hell you decide that you want one of probably the most like bombastic song to finish on. What makes you decide to do that? Because a lot of people would put like the calmest song at the end of their EP, which was definitely.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm kind of bullshitting here. I'm trying to make this question interesting. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone that wasn't you would put Hush at the end of the EP, which is the other track that's on there, very more mellow song. But I Want to Know is really just a great finisher, regardless. What makes you pick that as the song you finish off, essentially?
First off, thanks for having a listen. I appreciate I appreciate all your words. But basically, this song was just super fun because it's at the end of the EP. It's the last song we did, and we just deliberately gave ourselves no rules. If we so often the process of recording and making a song is always about choosing the right elements. Don't overload it. Don't make it too thick or whatever, because then everything will get lost in the mix. This song we didn't try and have any of that any of that control over ourselves. It was just, what, I want another bass synthesizer in there, let's do it. Chuck it in. Another string layer, whack it in there, off you go. And just had a lot of fun, and I think you can hear that in the track. So it was sort of the release. It was the big splash that we want. It was just a no-brainer for me to put it at the end to close the whole thing up.
Just one of those songs that builds up and up and up and up to like this massive crescendo at the end, which is what I really like.
Thanks.
Hits the right spot.
Thanks. Yeah, it's fun live too.
I imagine it would be. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be probably a great one to play with the band. Definitely getting that full band sound going.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Greg. Strangely enough, Greg, thank you so much for joining me on this fine evening.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so keen to play the song. Before we do, where can people find your music and find your socials and that?
All the usual places. So, pop in Strangely Enough or Strangely Enough Band to Instagram, Facebook, all the streaming spots, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud. We're on all of them. We're everywhere. So, Strangely Enough Band. Check it out.
Fantastic. Greg, thanks again. We're about to play the song. Why don't you do us a solid and announce it and tell us who you are?
Sure. Hi, this is Greg from Strangely Enough, and you're listening to our new song, I Want to Know.
Beautiful.
Set the earth on fire. After all this trouble, after all has turned to rubble, we will fight to stay alive. 'Cause I wanna know how it feels losing
AustralianMusiciansRadio.com